Pen tool. The pen tool is one of those things that can really intimidate Photoshop users because it seems really complex when you first get started with it. I'm here to clear the air and show you how you can efficiently use it. There's two main reasons why a beginner should use the pen tool. First of all, custom shapes. These are vector layers that can be resized at any dimension. Photoshop already has some built in, but of course these can't possibly cover all your needs, so we can use the pen tool to create some of our own. First, hit the P key and get it. Make sure you're on it and not one of these other options. Now we'll focus up to see its settings. We want to select Shape from this drop-down. Regarding the fill, that's going to be taken from the foreground colour, but you can easily change it by clicking here. The next option is the stroke, and I always recommend you keep it off. That's what the diagonal red bar means, no stroke. So even though we have its weight set at 1 pixel and with a dotted appearance, it's not going to show up at all. Great, now we can click a few times and create something, an irregular shape that would be fairly difficult to create without the pen tool. Plus, this is a vector shape, so we can resize it easily. We can also double-click its thumbnail and adjust its colour. Pretty sweet. We don't have to have straight lines either. If you click, you set a point. If you then click and drag, you'll get a rounded line. As you can see right here, this allows for greater flexibility. If that's not enough, you can easily adjust your shape afterwards. Press A to access the direct selection tool, and now you can modify the roundness of the shape as you'd want. I'd much rather use the hotkey, which is much simpler. Just hold down the Control key while on the pen tool, and you'll see you have the same direction tool active. You can go in anywhere you want, so you're not bound by anything when using the pen tool. Even more, with the same direct selection tool active, you can click on an anchor point, that's what these points are called, and move them by dragging. Okay, let's see what else there is to know. First, when you use the pen tool, you have to come full circle and close your shape off. We're going to make a triangle to illustrate the point. I already have it made, but you need to close it off in order for it to be completely done. To do that, go to the first point you've set, and you'll see your cursor will have this small O symbol. This means you'll close the shape off. Always do that, no matter if you're on the shape or the path option. But let's say your shape didn't turn out exactly as you wanted it. Maybe you wanted another point here, but you don't want to redo the entire thing. That's easy. Whilst on the pen tool, go to an edge where you've already set some points and click. As long as you're on a line that's between two existing points, you can add more, as many as you like actually, and of course you can modify them as you want. You can even click and hold to add an anchor point, so again your options are unlimited. But now we've gone overboard and we have too many anchor points. How do we remove them? Easy. Just hover over an anchor point and this minus symbol will appear. So again, to add an anchor point, just look for the plus symbol when you hover over a line between 2 points. To delete one, hover over it and look for the minus symbol. If you have this asterisk, that means you'll create a new anchor point. Great, let's continue. If you created rounded lines, but you've changed your mind, you can hold down the Alt key to make them straight. Just look for this cursor and you'll be good to go. You can make rounded lines into straight ones and vice versa. You simply click again to get the other effect. So that's what the Alt or Option key does for you. You might be thinking, hey, this is quite a lot to take in, but if you hold down the pen tool, you'll see all the options I just described. Add anchor point, remove anchor point, convert point tool, but they all do the same thing. You'd much rather keep the pen tool active and use the shortcuts I described. One thing you should know, say you press the Enter key while working. Now all those points have gone and you can no longer add any points to your shape. You can't delete any. What are you supposed to do? If you click, you'll start a new shape. Well, in this case, you have to access the direct selection tool and make a selection that will encompass all those points, like this. So I'm selecting them all. Now if I switch back to the pen tool, I can continue working like I just described. That's the pen tool for making shapes. Now we're going to talk about creating paths. First, don't worry, this won't take long because everything I just described still applies. Adding, removing, converting anchor points, making them rounded, making them straight, the works. So where would we use the pen tool in this setup? Well, this is great for making selections. Let me open up an image so I can show you. Okay, I'd like to isolate these hills from the sky. There's a number of ways of doing it, but let me show you one that uses the pen tool. I'll start from the left side and work my way to the right. I sometimes click to create straight lines, while for these tricky sections, I click and hold so I can get a nice curve. I can go as precise as I want, and I can take my time for a great result, or I can do it fast, like I'm working now, just to illustrate how this works. When I get to the end, I need to circle back around and close the path. When I get this O symbol, I can click and finish it off. Then I'll right-click and choose Make Selection. This is the second major use of the pen tool. Now my hills are selected, I can do whatever I want with them. Here I'll hold down Alt and click on this mask to create an inverted mask. Now the background is transparent, and if I wanted to, I could create another layer and create a sky of my own with a gradient or solid colour. That's beside the point, so don't worry about it, but the idea is that the pen tool can help you create some awesome shapes, or on the other hand, you can create detailed selections with it. So that's the pen tool. Use it without worries.